Good morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning. Okay, once again, I apologize. I had to split up the videos. This video has the royal family stuff, and you're not going to believe it, but Netflix is going to start selling Meghan's products in actual pop-up stores. So we're going to cover all of that in this video. And then video number 2 is going to be all about what's going on at Invictus. So follow me over, but let's cover it all, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off with King Charles and Queen Camilla. They actually held separate receptions at the same time at Buckingham Palace Tuesday evening for representatives from their military affiliation. So this took place on the 11th, and they were basically saying thank you for their service. So of course, they met with various military units and regiments in separate ceremonies. Now, this was arranged to ensure that both of them could give maximum time to their respective military guests so they could personally thank representatives from each unit. Charles has military connections with the Royal Navy, Army, and the Royal Air Force, and that include the HMS Queen Elizabeth and the HMS Prince of Wales, while his Army connections are units like the Royal Corps of Marines and the Parachute Regiment. He keeps close ties with those historic regiments, including the Gurkhas, the Royal Regiment of Scotland, and the Royal Tank Regiment. Queen Camilla's affiliation are the 4th Battalion, the Ranger Regiment, the Rifles, and the Royal Lancers. And she maintains relationships with medical services, including the Royal Navy Medical Service and the Navy Chaplaincy Service. I love that they do these and they show thanks for everything that these people do. That's how it should be. I also like the fact that they split the reception up so that everybody had maximum time with the king and the queen. All right, let's move on. Just a few days ago, the king had audiences at Buckingham Palace. First up was Mr. Maurizio Carlo Gelli, the ambassador from the Republic of Nicaragua. Next up was Mr. Luis Alvarez, the ambassador from Uruguay. And finally, Miss Mariana Plaza, the ambassador from Argentina. Looking good. Also at Buckingham Palace a few days ago, the king presented the Royal Geographical Society Patron Medal to British mountaineer and writer Stephen Venables and British geographer Vanessa Lawrence. Also at Buckingham Palace a few days ago, the king posed for pictures with faith leaders, including, and I hope I'm saying this right, the Duke of Queensberry, also Chief Imam Dr. Razawi, Chief Rabbi Sir Ephraim Mervis, and again, the Duke of Queensberry during the signing of the Muslim-Jewish Reconciliation Accord. Also going on the 12th of February, King Charles is having a private 3-hour dinner that has a lot of, the First Ministers of Scotland, the First Ministers of Wales, the Deputy First Minister of Northern Ireland. They're all going to be there. And they've all taken up an offer to stay overnight at the castle after the meal. But the First Minister of Northern Ireland has decided she's not going to stay. She's going to stay somewhere else. And they're claiming she's snubbing the king. You can't claim to be the First Minister for all and then snub the king. This person met King Charles when he went to Northern Ireland in 2022 after the Queen died, and she attended the late Queen's funeral and the King's coronation. So what the heck? Ugh. All right, moving on. All right, well, now I want to talk about a visit Sophie did in January. I don't think I covered it. It was before they went to Nepal. She went to visit Little Arche, London, and it was her first visit to meet and find out about this place because it's for people with disabilities, and we know that she's always been a champion of local and national organizations. And I think, of course, she'll do a great job there, but I couldn't remember if I covered it, so here it is. All right, moving on. All right, just as an FYI, Prince William and Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales, unfortunately will not be taking the BAFTAs this year, which takes place on February 16th in London. They will not be attending. They will not walk the red carpet before the event. Their schedules are too full. I think she's being very reflective since her cancer fight. Nothing wrong with that. Now, keeping with Catherine, she actually went to a prison to speak with women, convicts, who gave birth while in jail. The prison apparently has a mother-baby unit, and Catherine is the patron, and she's there to promote mom and baby bonding, even in this kind of environment. And as she was walking through, there were some wolf whistles and cat calls, and, she just kept smiling and waving and just kept going. The first part of her visit, where she met the prison's 4 current prisoners who have children, as well as seeing their personal accommodations and nursery, that was held in private. So what you're seeing later on is her meeting with staff and 2 ex-inmates to talk about their experiences. The women said, what it was like to be mothers of young babies born in prison. They did say the treatment that they received was exceptional and made them even more determined to make sure that their children's lives would be different. One of the women had been there for 14 months, and she told Catherine about the huge range of courses they had been on and how much of a difference it made to their parenting. So she said, quote, "It was a safe space run by the charity Action for Children and not by the prison. That's what made the difference." So you have the opportunity to, step outside of the regime, if only for a few hours. It was very important. And you could just, be a mom, share ideas about how to be a better parent. And Catherine asked, do you think if you had access to this kind of support, if it would have helped you before you reached crisis point on your journey as parents? And would you like to see some of this in the community? And the answer was yes. One of the women that was there was in the prison for 11 months, and she arrived at the prison when she was 30 weeks pregnant. I can't even imagine. And she said, it's difficult because the crime was unrelated to decisions I made as a parent. And I worked in the community, and, it was different. Anyway, it looks like the trip went very well. And, Catherine, she had to play with the babies. I just love her. I gotta be honest, for me, I would think this is a very important program, like really. All right, let's move on. Now, sort of still sticking with Catherine, Kensington Palace put out a statement, defending Catherine because reports suggested that she found it very difficult during engagements when the spotlight was put on her outfit rather than on her charity work, which I agree with. A lot of these articles are all about what she wore, where it came from, had she worn it again. But what they're saying is to clarify the comments that appear are not from the Princess of Wales. They're comments that should not be attributed to her because that's not what she's all about. The palace says there has been no change in our approach to sharing information about her clothing. Perfect. Moving on. I always loved this pink gown on her. Absolutely fabulous. All right, let's move on now. Sir Tim Lawrence is back up on his feet, and as chair of trustee of the Science Museum, he visited the Rawton Innovation Park and Hawking Building, which is home to over 300,000 historical objects. I mean, yes, he's back up on his feet, but as you can see, he's also carrying a cane. Look in his right hand. Okay, let's move on to the Meghan stuff. And this is like unbelievable. I'm not sure how much I believe this. So here we go. Remember, ARO came out a year ago and then nothing. And all of her trademark applications have been rejected and she's going to have to rebrand. In the meantime, they're saying that Netflix is trying to help her save her brand. In a few weeks, they're going to be selling her jam in brick and mortar stores owned by Netflix. It's being reported that the first of the American Riviera Orchard stands is going to open in early March in 2 of America's biggest retail centers, the King of Prussia Mall in Philadelphia and the giant Dallas Galleria. And they're going to be selling jam, honey, and olive oil. My problem is, if she hasn't got the trademark for American Riviera Orchard, how in the hell is she able to sell products under that name? And they're saying that the timing is significant because, of course, her show is starting on March 4th. And so this is going to be her make or break moment. Well, it turns out that Netflix has something called Netflix House. It is, and I'm quoting, a year-round home for fans to live the stories they love, enjoy rotating immersive experiences, exclusive merchandise, food, drinks, and more. So in other words, you like the Squid Game? You can go and immerse yourself in the Squid Game. Oh, you like some of the food you see on some of the shows there? Yeah, you can try it. You can buy it. You get it? So Netflix is going to try to sell her stuff in these stores while they're airing her show. But if it doesn't do well, if it bombs, they are going to remove her merchandise from the shelves, let the contract expire, and that's going to be the end of Meghan and Netflix. So they're hoping, by the way, to open up one of these Netflix places all around the country, everywhere. Thus, according to the source, Netflix is constantly expanding and growing, and so Netflix House is the natural progression. And so her products will be there alongside shirts and merchandise from some of the biggest shows on the planet. They said it's a bigger deal for her than it is for Netflix. Again, if it doesn't go well, they'll just take her stuff down, they'll cancel her contract, and, they'll move on. It is also being reported, as I have reported to you previously, that they are re-editing the show and they are putting in footage from her and Harry going to help during the fires. That's why we saw the cameras following them. I got to be honest, I find that very distasteful, and I think it's just going to come off worse if they actually add that kind of footage to this show. Well, time will tell. We'll see. All right, let's move on. All right, finally, I just wanted to touch on this article. Lorraine Kelly on the 10th of February had royal correspondent Russell Myers on, and they were discussing Harry and Meghan at the Invictus Games. And basically she said, listen, they're having such a hard time with the family, but it's self-inflicted. Truth is, she's just saying what the rest of us are aware of. It is self-inflicted. Absolutely. Nobody's been telling them to treat the family like dirt. That's their own thing. It's called consequences, and it's funny that all other adults are aware of it. All right, you guys. So yeah, there was a lot in there, but now you're going to want to follow me over to video number 2. The link will be down in the description box. If you can't find it, then just, go to my channel and there will be video number 2. It's also very long because, again, it's Invictus. So let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go.